all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and pepper and heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack, Mr. Magic Marley Marl.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. If you are seeing this, episode 2 has dropped already, and we are working on episode 3 right now. First of all, we dropped our TikTok and YouTube channel, also an Instagram channel. That's going to be linked somewhere in this video. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but yeah, go ahead and give that a like. We're going to be posting a bunch of clips. Some clips that won't make the podcast. Unfortunately, episode 1 was horribly edited by me. So I'm going to chop that up and release some clips from episode 1. Probably won't drop episode 1, but we'll just do a bunch of clips that we all thought were really good. So with me, as always, I got the boys with me. Go ahead and say what's up, Junior. How you feeling?
What's up?
And you can't forget Dom. How you feeling, Dom?
I'm here. Life is peachy right now.
Life is peachy. That's what we like to hear. So we got some good topics for y'all, man. Can't wait to get into it. So let's go ahead and knock into our first topic. All right, so the first topic we're going to get into, everybody's talking about it. I think it's kind of funny. We're going to get into the Patrick Beverly and Trae Young beef right now. Now, for those who don't know, I'm going to give you a little backstory on what happened. Basically, it all happened when Beverly was on social media talking about how all-star games are taken for granted or whatever. Trae Young replied, he said, and I quote, "Relax, let us speak for ourselves," because Trae Young's been an all-star. Patrick Beverly's never been close to it in his career, basically. So this got Patrick kind of heated. So they've been going back and forth. Beverly said Young has not been to the playoffs as many times as he has, and also Young hasn't won enough. And let's see. After that, Trae Young fired back with a 12-minute video, basically roasting him. It was kind of entertaining to watch, I'm not going to lie. Trae Young pointed out that Patrick Beverly has one conference finals appearance, and not to mention he mocked him when they won a play-in game. I'm pretty sure y'all saw the meme where he jumped on top of the stands like he was Kobe, threw his jersey into the crowd, like walked off crying. I don't know. He had he might have had some stuff coming. We'll never know. But basically, that's the beef right now. And let me hit y'all with some stats, because that's what makes a player, is stats. So Patrick Beverly, he played 12 seasons. He has 0 All-Star appearances. He has 8 playoff appearances, 1 conference finals appearance. Finals, never been to it. So his career, his points per game was 8.4, so we can say 8. Assists per game, 3. And career rebounds per game, 4. So pretty low. Let's get into Trae Young right now. Trae has done 7 seasons, 2 All-Star appearances, 3 playoff appearances, 1 conference finals appearance. He hasn't been to the finals, so him and Patrick kind of share that. However, his points per game career-wise, he's averaged 25.5. So we can say he averaged 25. His assists per game is 9.5, and his career rebounds, Trae Young not get rebounds, but it's 3.6. So let's talk about the beef. Who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? Dom, we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. Dom, let us know, what's this beef about, man?
This beef is kind of funny. And the reason why I say that is because of Pat Bev going back at Trae Young. Let's go ahead and be honest. Every win that this man, Pat Bev, has had is because he had an all-star on his team and he has been carried. You, as somebody like Pat Bev caliber, you cannot say, "Oh yeah, I made it to a conference final," because you really did not contribute. You really did not contribute. So yeah, you saying that you're trying to prove a point, but you're really not proving a point. You're really helping Trae Young prove his point that he's a better team. He's a better. I don't want to say team player because Trae Young is not a team player, but he is a better overall player But I get what Pat Bev is saying is that he's not a great leader. Yeah, Trae Young's dropping 30 here and there. Yeah, he might have a few assists here and there, but how is he getting his team involved is my question. Yeah, you're having big games, but what is your teammates having? How are you getting your teammates involved? So it's really just it's great PR for their brands,
Yeah.
but it's just unnecessary beef because neither one of them are really doing anything. And Pat Bev ain't even in the league right now, so I don't get why he's trying to argue something.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny. It's kind of like our last episode 2. We talked about what makes a good basketball team. A lot of us talked about having a well-rounded team. All the players are decent. Atlanta ain't got that. I feel like Trae Young kind of is their only good player. They may have some other players. I don't look at Atlanta Hawks basketball. But whenever you see ATL, it's Trae Young, respectfully. Jerry, what you think about this Patrick Beverly and Trae Young beef?
Yeah, I haven't been too tapped into it, unfortunately, but I don't really. I think it's kind of sad that these players are kind of, or a former player and a current player, kind of going at it the way they're going at it. I think it's kind of dumb. They should be supporting and upbuilding each other. That's the first thing. Second thing is everybody know what Pat does. He comes into a team. They're not looking for him to score a bunch of points, maybe stand in the corner, defend the best player. Uh, Trey Young has never really impressed me ever. Even when he was in college, he just never impressed me. As soon as I seen his season. I think he only was in college for maybe a year in Oklahoma. I saw one of the first few games for their season, and they were good early, but then later in the season, people figured them out real quick, and it just didn't. I never thought his play style constituted to winning at all. You can have 30 and you can have, 10 assists. But if your team ain't winning, then what are you doing? And if you look at Atlanta, like their stats, just to look the past few years since he's been drafted, they went 41 and 31, and they did lose in the Eastern Conference Finals, which is impressive. Um, but then the next year they followed it up with 43 and 39 as a record, lost in their Eastern Conference in the first round of the playoffs, then followed it up with a mediocre 41 and 41 record and lost in the first round again. Last 2 seasons haven't made the playoffs. They had a record of 36 and 46 and then 40 and 42. Not impressed. Not impressed. And they still got Trey Young. Yeah, they've had a lot of other pieces around him be moved and stuff like that, but it's just not impressive to me. So, and I don't think any other team out there. This might be a hot take. I don't think anybody out in the league is looking to trade for Trey Young or try to have Trey Young to elevate their team. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know. If I'm a GM, I'm not looking at Trey Young and saying, "Oh, that's who I want."
Yeah,
I'm looking at somebody in a small market like Anthony Edwards and saying, "Yo, when he gets a free agent, that's who I want." I'm not looking at Trey Young because guess who got drafted the same year as Trey Young? Luka Doncic, right? Look what Luka doing and look at what Trey doing. They were kind of drafted into similar situations. So I think the beef is hilarious. Don't get me wrong, but I think somebody said it was basically like a mid off. Like you got two players that are really bottom. I ain't well, sure, yeah, bottom tier. They're both bottom tier players that are just going back and forth, just like, dang, y'all need to be in the gym working on your craft. To be honest with you.
Yeah. And that's a good take. I kind of think of the same. This is my issue with the Patrick Beverly and the Trey Young beef. In my opinion, of the better player, there is no comparison. Respectfully, you can't compare I wouldn't even say a role player because Patrick Beverly technically was never a role player. I mean, he was there. You can't even say that he's like six man because I mean, six man Lou Will. That's like the pinnacle of a six man in my opinion, and that was never Patrick Beverly. Um, I think when I heard this beef going, one thing came to my mind, and I think y'all know this bar. My goat Drake said it. Bench players talking like starters. I hate it. I, this. I feel like he's rage baiting. He's on a podcast. He needs some views, and Trey Young gave him some views. Trey Young also destroyed him in a 12-minute video. So, and also, you know what? Shout out the Atlanta Hawks because immediately after this beef started happening, I don't know if you saw their social media page. They posted all uh, majority of buckets that were scored on Patrick Beverly playing against Trae Young, that jump was hilarious. And I just want y'all
That's
to
a
know
W media team right there. That's
it's
a
a
W
W
media
media
team.
team. And respectfully, no other team did that for Patrick Beverly. So,
Like I said, it is a PR rep. They're trying to boost their PR for their brands.
and you know what?
That's all that it is.
That's what we need to do. Somebody call out Dom. Go ahead and call out LeBron so he can.
I got you. LeBron, you shouldn't have had Bronny. You should have had me. I would
Oh,
have been a better son.
well, that wasn't what I was thinking about, but yeah.
And plus, you're not the GOAT. You're trash.
Okay, well, let's
Oh
go ahead
my.
and keep on going forward. But yeah, one thing that like kind of gets on my nerves, and this does go back to like Patrick Beverly. He's retired. Um, I, Something gets on my nerves about retired players talking about new players. Um, I don't know if y'all seen that All the Smoke podcast. It might not even be All the Smoke. It's a different podcast out there, and I can't remember what it is. But basically, it's just a bunch of old guys used to play basketball back in the day, and they'll say something wild like, "Oh, if I was in Kobe's position, I would have done the same thing." No, you wouldn't have. I, I feel like if people wanted to be in Kobe's position, they would have put players around them like they did for Kobe. Now, if you didn't get those players, then they didn't believe in you, buddy. So there's something about when retired players of any position, like whatever profession, it could be a retired football player, basketball player, baseball player, something about trashing on the younger generation, something just don't sit right with me. And especially saying like, oh yeah, if I would have, well, if you could have, or if you would have, then just, you should have done it. I mean,
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yep.
it doesn't help you now that you're sitting on your podcast talking about, oh yeah, I could do this or I could do that. So
Yeah.
But let's say this also. In that beef, this man Pat Bev said himself when Trae Young retires that they're going to forget his name quick. We forgot Pat Bev's name quick too. He can't say that. He acting like this man was putting up generational numbers. He was not doing that. He was just on a team that was getting carried. And the only reason why I thought of Pat Bev recently is because I still had 2K21 and I played against that man. That was the only reason why I remember Pat Bev. So what is your argument here? What is Pat Bev's argument here? What is Trae Young's argument here? And this could have been an easy phone call if you want to have some beef. It could have
If
been an easy
Trey
phone
if
call.
Trey retired today, do you think he'd go down like? Do you think he'd get his jersey in the rafters of Atlanta?
Heck no.
I think
that
he'd be forgotten easily
Well,
too.
hold on.
I think he'd be forgotten very easily. But
I
that
Let me
don't
might be a
think
say
different conversation.
let me
this
say
is.
this though. I will say that he will have his jersey up in the rafters. But the
Mm.
only reason why I say that is because it's not many players that have came from Atlanta like that. So that's the only reason why he's Atlanta's favorite. So that's the only reason why I could see his jersey being in the rafters. That's the only reason why, because he's Atlanta's favorite.
I mean,
I might have to disagree. But go ahead, Anthony.
respectfully, before Trey Young, what other Atlanta Hawk player were we talking about?
Dominique Wilkinson, that's the last one.
Oh, you're a liar. You're a liar.
Who?
Young Al Horford,
And then
Joe
Vince Carter.
Johnson, Josh Smith. Y'all
Vince
stop
Carter.
playing. Come on, we
Yes,
know ISO
that's
Joe.
cool
We
and
know
all.
what he does, bruh.
Is Horford when Horford retires tomorrow? Is he going to be remembered for his years in Atlanta or his years with the Celtics? I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be the Celtics because that man has been straight
Probably
hooping.
Atlanta. That's recency bias. That's recency bias. That's because that's the newest thing that you remember with Al Horford. That doesn't mean he will be most remembered for his Celtic stuff. I mean, I think he'll be most remembered for his Atlanta stuff because I remember Al when he was in Atlanta. That's just me. Maybe it's a generational thing, but we only 2.5 years apart, Anthony. So you got to remember back when Joe and Josh Smith and Al Horford was trying to go against a. Unfortunately, in that time, it was a prime LeBron they were going against. So the Al in those years was tough too. I'm just saying, there's people that's come out of Atlanta that they solid.
So would you put Al Horford's career over Trey Young's career as a far? Like would you put it over Trey Young's career? with the Hawks?
At this point in Trae's career,
Yes.
absolutely.
I don't know. That's an interesting take. I don't know how I feel about that. You are right. I don't know much about Horford with the Hawks. I know he's been winning with the Celtics though, so it's
Yeah.
kind of like I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like it's kind of like we remember Russ at the Wizards. That was a weird time. Like obviously, I don't have the numbers, but we can confirm that he was hooping with the Wizards. But if he
For 1 year.
retires if he retires tomorrow, are we gonna are we putting Russ's career over like if he did better numbers than Bradley Beal's career from all those years he was there?
Yes.
Like, well, okay.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I guess. But
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe that's his. I'm a Trae Young fan.
Bradley Beal had 1 year of balling out for the Wizards. And that 1 year that Russ balled out, this man averaged a triple double. So yes, I will put his name over Bradley Beal. I don't care if he's been there longer. What has Bradley Beal proven on the doggone Wizards?
I mean, in my opinion, Bradley Beal his career hasn't proven anything to me yet.
Not at all. The man is trash.
I wouldn't say he's trash. I just feel like he's consistently average.
Let me
Trash.
give y'all some stats real quick since we was talking about Al.
Okay.
And we can edit this later however you want. But
Okay.
Al Horford was joined Atlanta in 2007 2008 season, right? He came in second in Rookie of the Year finishing. So he almost won Rookie of the Year. That's the first thing. He had a very good rookie season. Almost had a double average double. So he was with Atlanta from 07 to 2015, 2016, right?
Okay.
Atlanta made the playoff every single year he was on that team. Every single year. Trae missed the last two. And the two before that, he lost in the first round.
Who was on that team though with him?
You go back.
Is the
Say again?
question. So who was on that team with him when he was with the Hawks? It's a real question.
That's a good question. But the point is, the team you get is the team you get. You know, usually when you get drafted, you're not going to a great team, right?
Unless you're Cooper Flag.
Because before that, before they drafted Al Horford, they had missed the playoffs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. They missed the playoffs before they drafted Al Horford. And I don't know if they had Josh Smith at that time. I don't know if they had Joe Johnson at the time. I don't know. I'm just telling you what I see. And Al Horford had to be a big part of that. I know. Oh, okay. I see Joe Johnson was on that team. Josh Smith was on that team. They had Paul Millsap as well. I think that's Josh Childress, if I'm not mistaken. You got to make it to the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. If I'm Trae Young, you got to get to the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't care what you got to do. Make it to the playoffs. These numbers are sorry. The team record is sorry. The East is not. What do you think? The East or the West is stronger?
West.
I agree.
I
The
say
East
West.
is a little bit easier to get through. In the East, you had you got Boston and you got a couple other teams like Cleveland that might be a little bit of a pretender, but you got other. So if you're Trae Young, you got to make it to the playoffs if you're in the East. If you were in the West, he probably wouldn't have a chance. If he was in the West, he probably wouldn't even have 40 wins last season. If he was in the West, the year before last, he probably wouldn't even got 36 wins. He probably would have got like 30 some wins. They'd have been a lottery team, right?
For sure.
You got to do better if you're Trae. That's all I'm saying. I'm not validating the beef. I'm not validating what what's the guy's name? I just
Patrick
forgot his
Beverly.
name.
Patrick
Thank
Beverly.
you. I'm not
That's my
validating what
point.
he's saying.
That's my point.
I know, right? I know. I just proved Tom's point. I just proved I'm not validating what he's saying, but what I am saying is if you Trae Young, listen, I'm not getting on a podcast type, recording a 12-minute video when I ain't made the playoffs in the last 2 years. I'm just saying, get in the gym. Stay in the gym. You need to sleep in the gym.
So would you confirm that this is a mid-off?
Absolutely.
I wouldn't
It's
even
so
say
boring.
mid.
Would you say that it's a bottom off?
Yes. Heck yes.
Man,
Heck yes. It's like the bottom of my foot right now. Just unimportant.
Like I said, bottom tier, bro. It's bottom tier.
mm, okay. Well, that's our takes on the Trae Young and Patrick Beverly beef. We believe that it is a mid off. All right, so our next topic is 1v1s. Now, one thing about the basketball world is that we love some 1v1s. Shout out Next Chapter. I love watching all their 1v1s, even their 2v2s, 3v3s. Some people feel kind of indifferent about it. So that made me thought of this question, and we're going to talk about it afterwards. Do 1v1 matchups in basketball really prove who the better player is? Or are they just a test of individual skill that doesn't reflect who's actually better in a 5-on-5 team basketball game? So, with that being said, Junior, let us know.
All right. 1v1s. I'm gonna go ahead and be honest. I'm not a good 1v1 player personally. I'm much better 5-on-5 because 5v5 helps you hide a lot of your deficiencies if you got one. Mine is my speed. I'm not near as fast as I am anymore. But 1v1 I think is a really good, gauge as to how your individual skills are. And if you're trying to work on an individual skill, I think that's, a really good way to tell to see how your skill is progressing in this one particular area. If you want to work on step backs, okay, cool. Let's 1v1. I'm doing working on my step backs. I want to see how it works. I think that's a good idea. And I think that it does translate to 5v5 in certain situations, like game on the line, right? I need a bucket. Who am I gonna go to? I'm gonna go to that dude that, you know, can break down his defender and get to the bucket or get to his spot and get his shot up, right? So I think it can go hand in hand.
Okay, that's a good response. Dom, what do you think about 1v1s?
1v1s is really just about your bag work because you can have a deep bag and win in 1v1, but if you don't have a deep bag, you still gonna stick to the fundamentals and get it. So it's really just who I mean, it really don't prove anything in my opinion. But for team basketball, I will say like I bring out the next chapter again. One player on there that proves that they are a great 1v1 player and also a good team player is Rob Cologne. Rob Cologne, that man is top two in YouTube basketball players. But then also when you see him in a 5v5 setting, he's grabbing boards, he's getting assists, he's breaking the defense down, which is causing them to collapse. He's throwing it out there. He's scoring when he needs to. So it's just that, in my opinion, a team player is better than a 1v1 player because you're proving a lot more when you're on a team than when just 1v1.
I'll respond. I'll add something to that. I really think that, like you said, it really just depends on the day sometimes. But some people might say like, well, if you're a hooper, it don't matter the day, you're gonna get to it, right? But that's not, always true. People have good days and bad days. I mean, people at the highest level of this game have good and bad days. LeBron, Paul George, you name it. Everybody had bad days at some point. Even MJ had bad games, right? I mean, we think of him as Black Jesus, the god of all basketball, but he had bad days too. But so I think from a just a 1v1 perspective, if I beat you, but I will say this, I think the severity of the beating, I think that makes a little sense too. I mean, I think that contributes to it as well because if I skunk you and I don't know, we going to what, maybe twelve,
We'll
15,
say
something like
12, 12, 15. Yeah.
12, and I skunk you in back to back, 1v1s on maybe a couple of different occasions, and I'm constantly, that might be a good indication. But if it's close every single time, and I just so happen to, get that last little jolt of energy and I pull it out, I mean, it could still be a close call. You know, I don't think it really means that I'm the better player if I beat you 2 out of 3 times on a few different occasions. I think just get to this. I don't think that really matters, honestly. I don't think it means I'm better.
Yeah. So, talking about 1v1s, and Dom and me and Dom know about Next Chapter a lot. Jerry, I don't know if you've seen a couple episodes. Basically, Next Chapter, they bring in, they go from city to city, and they find hoopers, and basically they just 1v1 each other, and it's real good to watch. Dom got
Let,
something to say.
let me add something about that 1v1 though.
Okay.
Basketball itself, like the piggyback off of what y'all saying, basketball itself is a game of runs. So it could be that your run lasted longer than mine just because you was getting to your spots, you was hitting. And I will say it also is what you're also used to, what you've been doing for a lot longer, because you can have a great team player that has grew up playing team organized basketball, but then you also could have somebody that's coming off the streets like a random person that's been 1v1 all his life. Of course, he has the better advantage on that because your team setting, you're building an IQ for your team, for you and your team. So you know how your team runs, you know how your team works, you know what their faults are, you know what their strengths are. But what a 1v1 player is, it don't matter who's in front of me. I know when I get to this spot, all I gotta do is raise up, and that's it. So it's really just a game of runs in your environment that you grew up playing.
Yeah. No, I for sure agree with that. Like somebody who does 1v1s like their whole life, never even done team basketball, I can see how you have a different advantage. Yeah.
I do have a question though, in the spirit of that. Since we're talking about 1v1s, Don mentioned something earlier about having a bag, right? I guess my question is, do you have to have a bag to be good at 1v1s?
You know what?
Yes and no.
I'm gonna say yes and no, respectfully. So I consider myself a bigger. I'm a solid. I'm 6 foot solid. Um, my bag around the 3 point is it's not there. I mean, I could probably get you a little bit, but I'm down low most of the time. Um, and I don't know if anybody's played against me before, but it's it's good aggressiveness that I got. I'm not gonna try to throw a shoulder in you, but if I feel you if I feel you back there, I'm gonna get you off me. you know, I feel like knowing what your body can do. Like I know that I can push somebody back, and if I feel that person kind of go back a little bit, doing a little swing, a little whatever, I feel like your bag doesn't have to be really deep. Um, like one thing I don't like in 1v1s, and that's one thing I kind of like about specific ones where it's like a four dribble limit, five dribble limit. I don't like that dribbling too much.
Yeah,
Step back hezzy,
yeah,
step back hezzy, step back hezzy.
yeah.
I don't like none of that. I need a quick 1-2 punch. You at your spot, pull up, something simple. So I'm gonna have to say what Dom says. Yes and no. You don't need a bag for 1v1s in my opinion.
My thing on that too, like Ant said, you know yourself, so you know where your spots are. But then it also comes into, I will say, IQ, because in 1v1s you have to adapt quickly, especially if your shot not falling. If it's a 1v1 with a ref, let me get to the free throw line. Let me see it fall through real quick. If they're So one thing that I always look for when I am playing somebody new is that, especially if I sit out the first game, it's a lot of cats that can only go left or only go right. So then your defensive IQ at that point in time, if you have it, should kick in. Yeah, I'm gonna force him this way. Yeah, I'm gonna force him that way. I know if he goes this way, he's gonna have to either spin or he's gonna have to put a shot up with between one dribble. So it's just that you got to have IQ in a 1v1. You got to know your spots. You got to know yourself. But your bag really don't have to be deep because it really ain't much you can do when I say, for instance, if I'm left-handed. and somebody's on my right shoulder, there's not much that you can do. So I know that I got to get them on my right shoulder in order to score. So it's not that your bag has to be deep. It's just that you got to know how to use your bag. The bag that you have, you just got to know how to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree with what you guys said too, because I know I don't have one. I like to drive left and put up a fadeaway. But if I'm going right, I like to get all the way down, to the bucket, and I don't have a lot of dribbling between the legs like I used to, but you do what you can do, right? I think what Dom said made perfect sense. You just know your body. Anthony said it too. You know your body, you know what you can do, and just stay within that box of that realm of what you can do. I think you'll be fine. However, I will say having a bag does help. you
Yeah.
know, in
Yeah.
1v1s, get somebody off their feet, get them to hesitate and be guessing what you're gonna do next. That makes it a lot harder for you to defend. So yeah, just curious.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing. I think in 1v1s, people are looking for ankle breakers.
The clip.
Uh, they're looking for the clip. Me, I think I play a very basic basketball. I said I don't have like a around a 3 point. I really don't have a bag up there. I have something that I call. I think it's kind of funny. This is like a One Piece reference. I got a strong left. That means when I go left, watch out.
You ain't
Usually,
you ain't being you ain't gonna get stopped going left.
I don't think. And the funny thing is that I can't go right. And I mean, I'm going on 27 years old. I don't see nobody that's really stopped my strong left before.
If it ain't
Um,
broke, don't fix it.
and that's the thing. Like when I another thing that I utilize and like I guess we can call it island work because in a team game and they like yo you need to get a bucket. You take the man to the island. That's what they call it. Um, my bag is very simple. People fall for a pump fake horribly.
Easily.
Every
Easily.
time. Every time.
That's one thing I always do when I go straight to the rim. Either I'm gonna hit you with a spin and like, hey, that person whew, flying. And I tell people that all the time. I'm like, yo, when you down there low and you get your man off you, hit him with a pump fake. Trust me, he's gonna know that. Oh man, I'm off him. I got to get back to it.
He
He's
got to
gonna fall
recover
for
quick.
he's gonna fall for that pump fake. Nobody really
Yup.
utilize pump fakes no. This brings me to a funny story. I was at Hillsborough Sportsplex. For those who
Yeah.
don't know, the Sportsplex is a nice place in Hillsborough, North Carolina. They got two gyms. I was supposed to be working out, but I saw somebody I knew, and we ran some 2v2. And I wasn't doing nothing special. I was getting the ball down low, you know, little little pump fake, little like some Hakeem Olajuwon, footwork basically. That's. And after we ended up winning the game, I went to go sit down. I was tired, and the kid looked at me. He was like, "Hey, OG, you ready for another game?" Mind you, I was like 25 at that time. I was like, "OG." I was like, "Bro, I'm 25." He responded with, he was like, "Oh no, your play style made me think you was older." Come on, man. Fundamentals make me older. It might be what it is, but that's what I think is kind of funny nowadays. Just because I don't be doing the step back hezzies between tween. Hey, watch out. You know. And you know what? This is the last thing I wanted to say about the 1v1s. And I had mentioned this to y'all before we started recording. There was talks about the NBA implementing 1v1s in the All-Star games. Well, All-Star weekends. Because I mean, can we agree that the All-Star weekend is it's
It's
getting
getting
kind of lame?
trashy.
It's
The
getting
NBA
kind of
got to
lame.
do better.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that they could have done last year to make it better, which everybody wanted to see, is Steph Curry versus Caitlin Clark in a 3 point shootout. That would have done numbers, but it didn't happen. If All Star Weekend implemented a 1v1 kind of tournament, and the players had to play at 100%. Obviously, it wouldn't be interesting if it was 100%. Would you be interested in watching that?
It will
Absolutely.
give you black top vibes. Black top vibes. That is exactly what they need to have is black top 1v1s, 2v2s, 3v3s.
Yeah.
That,
Don't
they
wear no
actually
jersey. Don't wear no team jersey. Wear something that you would wear if you go into the blacktop.
right,
It better be. You can bring out some long early 2000s shorts if you want. You can bring whatever you want. It ain't
right.
gotta be nothing crazy. It ain't gotta be no team jersey or nothing like that. It's just hooping. Like we used to do back in the day. It ain't gotta be nothing special. But I think that's what the NBA needs
Hmm.
currently. That's what everybody wants to see. They want to see SGA versus who Anthony Edwards, right? That's a good one.
Yeah,
They
that's a
want to
good.
see Chet Holmgren versus maybe Evan Mobley,
Oh
right?
yeah. Hmm.
Man, they want to
Evan
see
Mobley is
maybe
cooking him. Let's go to get it out the way, but let's keep it pushing.
yeah, maybe a LeBron versus KD. They not gonna do it, but hey, that'd be a little
That would
something
that would
interesting.
put up
What
numbers,
if we saw that 10 years ago, right? That would be
man.
amazing. That would have been
Yeah.
some amazing hoops, right? So I think people want to see these matchups, and I think you gotta have like a big man bracket if you got like if you got a five that wants to do it. Okay, well then this gotta be a separate thing.
Hmm.
And if you got three all the way down to your one, it's got to be a whole together. But your fours and your fives got to be separate. I think. So
And
Hmm.
here's the problem that I have with the NBA. As we've seen this past uh Olympics, that 3v3 was popping off. Why can't we do that All-Star weekend? Just have a 3v3 tourney for a day. Maybe have, I see, four 3v3 teams
yeah,
and
Yeah.
just let it rot. Let it rot. They're not changing anything. You're trying to change the rules, but the rules that you are applying are stupid rules. You got to do something that change the game because the game itself is changing year by year. So I mean, you got to bring excitement back. It used to be back in the day, East versus West. You knew that it was gonna be a show put on. But
Yeah.
now, I ain't even gonna lie. This past All-Star weekend, I didn't even watch it. I didn't even watch it. It's there. They got to do better. The NBA, they need to be held accountable. Accountability 2025, 2026. Got to start holding people accountable.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing they're trying to do is guys are afraid to get hurt or something like that. But I'm like, well, if you're injury prone and you don't want to play, you can just give it to somebody else that does want to play. Like,
Right.
you know, if LeBron doesn't, and like if you don't want to go 100% because you know what, my ankle feeling a little, I've been battling this ankle injury. I'll go play, since I was selected, but I ain't gonna. I'm gonna put maybe 50%. Get my couple points and then come out. You can still say I'm not gonna do it because you still get the All-Star nod. You still get the little, your little popularity, 10-time All-Star. Now I'm 11-time All-Star. Just because you don't play in the game doesn't mean that you don't get that check mark. You know what I'm saying? But it also gives somebody else that had a pretty good year. Like last year, LaMelo Ball should have been an All-Star, but LeBron was like, well, he had some type of issue where he forgot to say it or something like that, and LaMelo didn't get a chance. But LaMelo would have put in some work you know, trying to play. I think we just need guys to get back to playing 100% like they used to do back when, you know, Dirk, Kobe, T Mac, um, Tim Duncan, and all these guys were all stars. Back when it was exciting was back when when it was competitive. The only way I think you can make it competitive now is if you put some money on it.
Oh
And
yeah.
with the amount of money that the league is making, they can do it. They
Yep.
can do it. That's the only way it's going to be more competitive. I think that's the route they're gonna have to go.
Yeah. They might as well as like. I mean, they do it for the dunk contest. Mac McClung. Well, he gets like 50,000. Is that? I'm not sure how much. He gets a good amount. Yeah.
Amount
I
of money.
that'll make. I mean, yes, we have these all stars making millions of dollars, but maybe that'll make like a, let's say like somebody coming off the bench. Like me personally, I would love to see the Thompson twins in a 1v1s. They are really good offensively and defensively. And
Yeah.
just put like 50 bands on it. You're gonna have some people be like, yeah, look, yeah, I'll
In
do it.
there.
So
Yep. I'm in there.
so NBA, I'm gonna tag NBA in this TikTok that we're gonna clip this up. If you want to make the All Star Weekend better, we want two things. We want a 1v1, and we want Steph Curry against Caitlin Clark. It'll do numbers. I mean, he did it the year before with Sabrina, right?
Yeah. Ineski. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was pretty good.
do it with
She's the best
Caitlin.
three-point shooter in the league.
Yes, it was very entertaining.
Yeah.
But so do it with Caitlin Clark, man.
I
So
also want to say this to the NBA. Y'all are getting way too comfortable. Get outside your comfort zone. Explore a little bit. If it doesn't work, you don't have to do it again. Y'all have all-stars every week. It's not like it's the Olympics.
Right.
Just
Every year.
right. Try something different. Please try something different because y'all numbers, I know y'all numbers got to be going down for all stars. It has to be going down because I didn't watch it. If I didn't watch it, and I'm a basketball fan, I know people that ain't really basketball fans didn't watch it. So try something better. Try something different. It's going the same thing as a dunk competition. Y'all had that year that Cole Anthony was out there. It was trash. It was horrible. Y'all could have came to the YouTube side, picked up some dunkers. There's way better dunkers out here than what y'all had in that dunk contest. Just because they're in the NBA don't mean that you have to stick with the NBA. Go outside your comfort zone.
Yep.
wise words from a wise man. All right, so our next topic, and this topic popped off because I said something wild to Junior, and Junior looked to be kind of funny, so we had to do our research, and now we back at it right now, talking about it. Um, would you take prime Derrick Rose over prime Russell Westbrook, or would you take prime Russell Westbrook over prime Derrick Rose? Now, this is going to be a hard kind of conversation. Obviously, people have different, if not many different opinions about this matter. So I'm gonna just hit y'all with some stats real quick because we can kind of agree somewhat that Derrick Rose's best, we'll say his peak performance was when he was MVP. We can say that, and we can't really say when Russell Westbrook kind of peak. Like we know, like obviously we can't say a specific. Well, we probably could, but let me hit you with Derrick Rose's stats real quick. His MVP season with the Bulls. Mind you, he led the Bulls to 62 wins. That's the best record. He averaged 25 points per game, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, and yeah, those were the stats. Um, if you want to compare it to Russell Westbrook's MVP year, Russell Westbrook averaged 31 points per game, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. And mind you, that's 31, 10, and 10 because he averaged a triple double for the first time since Oscar Robertson. So let's just get into it. Uh, Dom, you got real close to the camera. It looks like you want to talk. Let me know who you taking in their prime.
So it's two different ways that you can go with this. Longevity wise, taking Russ, but we're talking about D Rose to where when he went to the Bulls and popped off, nobody was doing that at that time. Nobody was doing that. Because I remember this was a hot take that man was going to be better than Jordan. I remember that was a hot take. I remember hearing that man was going to be better than Jordan. Do I agree with that? Heck no. Heck no. but but that was a talk. But longevity wise, easily Russ because that man did average a triple double when he went to the doggone trashy Wizards. So I look, he would say Russ, but me, being an old soul, I gotta stick with the old bloods that be sitting on the porch now. Derrick Rose.
Okay, I thought you were about to say something wild. All right, so Dom's going with Derrick Rose. Junior, what do you think?
I mean, so the question is, who would you rather take, a prime D Rose or a prime Russ? And it is a tough question because you brought up the stats, Anthony, already, so I don't need to reiterate what you said already. But they were drafted the same year. They were both drafted in the 2009, 08-09 season. The thing about Derrick Rose and his comeuppance, so to speak, is it happened very quickly and it was intense, right? Russ didn't have quite that intensity. It kind of was like a slow build. So Derrick Rose's prime was really between 2008, 2009 when he won the Rookie of the Year, and it spanned pretty much all the way down to 2011 when he won MVP. Um, the year after that, he only played 39 games, and due to injury, and he finished 11th in MVP rankings and was an All-Star that year. But maybe he shouldn't have been. He only played 39 games. I'm not sure what the minimum for that is. So his first 3 years, it was like, oh my God, this guy Derrick Rose is the truth. He is great. But if you look at Russ, his first 3 years, they were like, okay, not bad. He averaged 15, 16, and then 21. Derrick Rose's best year, he averaged 25. Russell Westbrook's best year, he averaged 31. That's just points. So I think defensively, Russ might have been a little better as well. Not saying that Derrick was a liability, but I'm thinking that you know he definitely moved the bar when it came to defensive player. He actually had two top 20 finishes in defensive player of the year rankings. That's pretty impressive for a point guard like that as well. Especially in that time as well, where we didn't have a lot of defense first guards, right? So I think my answer is I'm taking a prime Russ, not because of the longevity, but because of the different levels he could score. He wasn't really a big 3-point shooter, and really neither was Derrick Rose. But I think from the defensive aspect of it, and just like Dom said, I kind of factor in the longevity a little bit, because Russ's prime was, I mean, I'm looking at the numbers. His prime was almost, it feels like it was almost 10 years. The OKC year starting in 2011, and then even that Houston year when he was in Houston that one year. That was a really good season as well. I mean, he averaged 27, 7, and 8 and only spent 1 year with that team. So I think if you look at all of that, I think you got to take a prime Russ. Now, I would love to have seen what a prime Rose would have done had he not got hurt,
Right.
but I ain't playing that game. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know that ain't a game we can play, because we just don't know, right? So definitely give Derrick Rose his flowers, because those 3 years were some amazing years. I mean, he pushed LeBron and all those guys to the brink, right, when they was in the playoffs and stuff. But that was Bron. So
I would like to add one more thing. I know this has nothing to do with it, but Russ was like more of a get to it player. He was explosive. He was this, that, and the third. But when it came with D Rose, he's more crafty. He finishes more crafty around the rim. But Russ was that if he catch you lacking up under the rim, it's up. Is I think that's part of the reason I guess I'm gonna say I'm biased on that part about D Rose, because he was crafty. I mean, like, and then the thing is he had a more influential on that generation at that time because of his play style. Like Junior said, how quick he did it, how
yeah,
quick he got to that MVP year. He was the youngest MVP, and it still is. It still stands to the day. So
yeah,
Yeah, I can agree with that. And honestly, um, I love I loved watching Derrick Rose. I know a lot of the newer generation didn't really get to see like Derrick Rose like tuning in on like a Wednesday night Bulls game. They only seeing highlights, bro. It was crazy to watch a Derrick Rose in his prime. I tell you, it was good to watch. However, Russell Westbrook. First of all, I was very upset when people he had that one off year and it went from Westbrook to Westbrick. It was hard to defend. Like it like we was talking about in the 1v1s. It was like a bad year. Something we don't know what was going on that probably could have caused that, but that Westbrick junk that messed with me because I saw what he did in his OKC days. We saw what he did with Houston. We saw what he did with the Wizards. Yeah, he was a bucket. I think I'm such a Russell Westbrook fan because he has a motor I've never seen before. Like, he starts at 100 and ends the game at like a 99. Like, he doesn't miss a beat. So I also would choose Russell Westbrook. Unfortunately, like Junior said, we can't play the game what if with Derrick Rose because we're doing what if with what happened. We saw Russell Westbrook all those years. We saw what he could do. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for Rose, which sucks because that would have been a way better conversation. Like it would have been harder to choose, i.e., if Rose never got hurt. But we can't say that, unfortunately. So I also would choose Westbrook. Now, let's do something. Just a quick little side question. Would you have rather built a team around Westbrook, or would you have rather built a team around Derrick Rose?
We talking
And
about an uninjured Derrick Rose?
let's talk about an uninjured Derrick Rose. Let's talk about an uninjured Derrick Rose. Like, let's just
Absolutely.
Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Man,
Yeah.
he was everything to that Bulls team. Had he never
He
gotten hurt, it would have been. I think there would have been a couple years. They probably would have knocked Braun and them off the playoffs, out of the playoffs. I truly believe that.
he doggone brought a team to a championship, the contender. It's really unheard of. But I would also say that like D Rose was more efficient than Russ. When it comes to scoring, he's more efficient. Uh, and then another thing that I'm also looking at too is that his clutch shot making. There has been times where Russ was clutch, but it's only you can count on it. It's a handful of times. But with D Rose, that was your go-to guy. If it's like 10 seconds left, you down by one, you giving the ball to D Rose and he's going to work. He's gonna go get a bucket. So I definitely would build my team around D Rose. Uninjured D Rose, we seen a glimpse of it like we said before, but it's just that that was like 3 years, 3 or 4 years that we only seen that. If we could have seen like how I would even say 8 to 10 years, then this probably would be a different story that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
agree. I mean, he had. Let's talk about some notable players that was on Rose's team that he had to carry. He had Luol Deng. Haven't heard that name in a minute.
Facts.
Uh, Carlos Boozer, Joakim Noah, Kyle Korver, one of my underrated goats. One of my underrated goats. Taj Gibson, who for some reason is Charlotte's big man. We'll talk about that later. C.J. Watson, Keith Bogans. Ooh, so we see like these players. I mean, they were decent, but Rose brought that whole squad to like to what they were. So
Yeah.
I also would form a team without a doubt around Rose. I know that sounds kind of contradictory to what I just said about a prime against prime,
Yeah.
but if it's team building, man, without a doubt, I'd choose Rose.
Without injuries too. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
And I think you just look at how much that team needed Rose just by like how their record was after he got hurt. They were not the same. They weren't the
Right.
same team. I mean, he went from playing 80 to 78 to 81 games to getting hurt, playing 39 games, missed a whole season, um, 10 games. And then he came back, kind of bounced back a little bit, but it was some tough times, not seeing Derek, just seeing him on the bench, not really can't really do much. It was injury after injury, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Hate to see
Uh-uh.
it.
I also will say to defend Russ a little bit, he did bring OKC back to winning without KD. After KD left, they still was winning.
They
And
stayed
that's
winning. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So the shout out Russ, but also shout out D Rose. I wish that man
Sure.
had stayed healthy.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We are at the end of the podcast. We have my favorite segment, the top three special. We basically give our top three. We choose a topic and we just go off of there. So the topic for today is our top three musical artists. Now, I usually go last. I let them go first, but I think I'm going to go first this time because I got some heat. So obviously, number one, Childish Gambino. If y'all known me for years, people who know me, all I listen to, High School Days and Up. I listen to 3005, best song ever. No question. And his music since then has just been getting way better. Mind you, also, he did the best live performance I've ever been to. I put it over anybody else that I've seen. Number two, this is a little crazy. I'm going to go Luke Combs. Now, Luke Combs, he's the only reason I got into country music. And I like the way he sings. So I had to put Luke Combs at number two. I know that's a crazy take, but it's my take. Number three, I'm going to have to go with Lute. I'm going to put y'all on. Lute, Lute. He is a Dreamville artist under J. Cole.
Charlotte homegrown.
Homegrown in Charlotte. That man got bars. Every song he released, man, is gas. Lute, if this pops up on your algorithm, go on tour. And in my opinion, it was unfair. They only gave you 15 minutes at a Dreamville set. Please go on tour.
Please go on tour.
Yeah. So that's my top three. Let's go ahead and go into the next one. Let's go, Dom. Dom, go ahead and give us your top three.
Number one, another North Carolina GOAT, J. Cole. Number two, Frankie Beverly and the Maze. Number three, T Grizzly. T Grizzly, Chicago's Detroit. That boy is tough, underrated. Put some respect on that man's name. Y'all don't know who T Grizzly is. Go tap in with him real quick. AT, if you see this, all love, my brother. All love.
Yeah. We knew T Grizzly was going to come sooner or later. All right, Jern, give us your top three, man.
All right. So I went a little bit different route. So I did a little more R&B because I like more singing than anything else. So my number one, I put Luther Vandross. What more do I need to say? We're talking about Luther. He's probably easily the king of R&B for his generation, at least. Anyway, it's probably different now, but Luther Vandross, he was just such a gem when he was alive, at least. So listening to him, I mean, he got a song for every occasion. It seemed like funerals, anniversaries, weddings, everything. He got a song for every occasion. So that's my number one. Number two, I did have another R&B legend, but I changed it. And instead I went to her more modern comparison, and I went with Jennifer Hudson instead. Now, Jennifer Hudson, she played Aretha Franklin in Aretha, the movie, the biopic, right? I've never had more respect for Jennifer Hudson until after I saw that movie. She
You
has
must
some pipes.
you must have
Some
been watching
serious.
Dreamgirls.
I
Dreamgirls,
did.
J Hud.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
man.
She's a gem too. So
Yeah.
her singing style with her, I hate that, but anyway, whatever. But she does very, very well. So she's my number two. Number three, I went with Freddie Mercury from Queen. Now I don't know if everybody knows about Queen. Kind of like I guess they consider classic rock for lack of a better term nowadays. But back in the day, they were just a rock and roll band. But Freddie Mercury, he died years ago. I don't even remember what year he died. It was a long time ago. But Freddie had some vocals too, and I mean he had range that was only comparable to those other two people that I just mentioned. So shout out Freddie Mercury, man, for sure.
Yep. All right. Well, those are our top three takes. Once again, if you're watching it, thanks for tuning in. We get more consistent with the vids. which is good because we took like a 1 month break after we filmed our first one. That's not even getting uploaded because I horribly edited it. But thanks for all the love I have been seeing on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure y'all tap in when we release clips. Um, yeah, thanks for tapping in, and this has been Top 3 at Bushy. We'll talk with y'all boys later.
Peace out.
All right.